Okay, we are back for another Purpose and Pixie Dust podcast. Hello. My name is Lindsay Dollinger, and I am so excited for you to meet today's guest, Olivia Ratcliffe. Olivia is local-ish here to me in Ohio, which I'm always really excited when I can interview another fellow Ohioan. But Olivia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I am super excited to talk with you today.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to dive into all the things. But before we do, tell us a little bit about you, who you are. How did you get to what you're doing? Because I love your story and I know other people really will too.
Thank you. Well, I'm Olivia Ratcliffe. I have two main businesses. My core business is the Bluebell Group, where I really focus on helping moms create truly standout businesses that actually enhance their lives instead of become this like never-ending time and energy suck that make them feel really bad. That's really born out of my own experience. I'm a solo mom with a 3-year-old. I'm neurodivergent and have a million other multi-passionate things going on in the background, including a full other business. It's a lot of figuring out how to juggle those balls without dropping things with your main priorities, the reasons why you got into business to begin with.
I love that. Why did you get into business to begin with? Do you mind sharing?
I have always been an entrepreneur, like forever. I think I walked into kindergarten and the teacher told my mom, "Oh, she's going to be CEO of her own company." I was like, "Oh yeah, I already am." That's
I love that.
It's been really it's something I think that's.
You're fine. You can keep talking. It's just my landline in the background. I live in like 1980s. Fine.
Yep, works. It's something that's in my blood, more or less. And this business, the Bluebell Group itself, is really because I wanted to help. I wanted to help people. And what I do now is I firmly believe that women don't have to choose between being a great mom, great wife, partner, friend, aunt, whatever it is, and being a wealthy, successful entrepreneur. I do think you can have it both. So,
yeah, I love that. And I think that is the piece that I really connected with you on the very first time that we chatted on Zoom a few months ago, was because I have heard so much in my business career that like you have to pick one thing and you can't do multiple things. And it never really set right with me. And I'm always like searching out people who have done more than one thing. And I absolutely love that you are killing it in 2 businesses. Plus you're a mom, plus you do all these other things. And it's like, yes, you can have your cake and eat it too, if you want to.
It's all about embracing that you can do anything. You just can't do everything all at once. So It's a lot of prioritizing and figure out what is that next most important step to take.
So what does that prioritization look for you? Like, how does that look in your life?
I will admit sometimes it's more chaotic than other times. Sometimes it's a lot of things screaming for they are all important and urgent, and it's hard to figure out which ones to focus on first. But I live by my to-do list in my calendar for the most part. I have to write things down and get it out of my brain. Once it gets out of my brain and is living on paper or ClickUp, as is my platform of choice at the moment.
I was just going to ask.
It really helps me to just kind of calm down and know that I'm not going to forget it, because that's one of my big things is I have that internal fear of I have all these amazing ideas and amazing things I want to do. What if I forget them? And then from there, really focusing on what is the most urgent and the most important thing to focus on. What are those things that are going to really move the needle and affect my bottom line? And focus on those first.
I love that. Yeah, the things that are actually going to get you those results. Now, what tips do you have for the woman listening who perhaps is a single mom as well? Because I think that also really sets you apart, because there are so many people listening who are mothers, but a lot of them also have the support of someone else living in their house and being able to watch their kid all the time. Or, like right now we're on a podcast interview. And I know when I was a guest on your show, your son was so well behaved. So I know that that's part of it as well, but I'm sure it hasn't always been like that. And, so what advice do you have for that mom listening? And maybe she's not even a single mom, but maybe her spouse or partner isn't supportive, and so she is feeling very much like a single mom in a business.
Yeah. Well, The first thing I want to say is I did talk with someone a while ago who was outlining how hard it is to be an entrepreneur and how much effort it takes, and how hard
Mhm.
and how much effort it takes to be a mom too. And she said that you can't do it without a husband. That was
Ooh,
literally her phrase. You
ooh,
can't do it without a husband,
oof.
which really, um,
I can't believe she said that to you. Did
I
she
don't
know
think
that
she,
you
I don't think she
oh,
knew. I
okay.
don't think she knew that.
But
Yeah.
still, like, that's such a
That's a very
polarizing
broad
comment.
statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I do want to say that it is possible. It is
Yeah,
possible. It might look a little different. And there's
right.
absolutely nothing wrong with having a husband or having a partner or having help or childcare or
Yeah.
school or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a badge of honor to just be as busy as you can possibly be,
Mm,
make
yeah.
things as hard as they can possibly be. But I do want to make sure that any single moms out there listening to this, trying to juggle everything, it is possible. Um, but just know yourself, your
Mhm.
strengths, your weaknesses. Be very familiar with your weaknesses and where you need help, and be willing to ask for help when you do need it.
Yeah.
And that might look like, if you have family close by who can come in and help every now and then, great.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a business friend. Maybe it's joining a membership where there's people who can jump in and just help with other kind of areas such as support
Mhm.
or feedback or, mentoring, coaching, things like that.
Yeah.
If not the actual literal help with, your child during the day.
Right. Yeah, that's such a good point because there's so many different ways that you can get that support. It's not always necessarily directly with your child or
Yeah.
whomever, you need that support with. But it can also be like the things in your personal life, outsourcing other stuff so that
Yeah.
you have that time and space and capacity, that
Yeah.
mental capacity to do your work that you want to do.
I call it it's the simplified lifestyle is what I call it. And it's
Mhm.
fully embracing, eliminating anything you can eliminate from your to-do list, automating anything you can automate, and then delegating everything that's
Everything that you
left.
can. Yeah.
And the automation, but it goes beyond like email automations and Zapier and everything. It's also, what are the little things in your house that annoy you throughout the day, like in
Yeah.
your home life? Um, for example, I absolutely have to have a chapstick or lipstick or something on at all points
Yep.
forever.
I do too.
And I would get super annoyed when I'd go to sit down for a Zoom call and realize that my chapstick was in my purse in my car or
Mhm.
something. And so it's like, okay, so now I have to have that chapstick, and it's a million of the same color, same flavor chapstick everywhere I would go to reach for it.
Yeah.
And it seems it might be a little overkill for some people. I
I
do not,
totally do the exact same thing. Yep.
but it
I have one, like,
helps
right
with
there.
Yes, yes, I'm looking at mine right now.
Yep, yep.
But it helps with that little bit of annoyance that, "Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I really wish that was here." It takes that off the plate because it's those little things that really start to build up, that really drain your energy,
Mm,
and so it's, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, right? It might be
yeah.
one small thing that throws you over the barrier into overwhelm, and it's all about just trying to eliminate as many of those as possible.
I love that so much because I know everyone listening has been in that situation at some point, especially as women, because I feel like we hold so much in and like, that's okay. We say like, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. And everything builds up until it's something small, like my chapsticks in my purse in my car, and I'm going to lose my, what
Yes,
right
yes,
now.
exactly.
Yes, yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, I totally understand that. So do you outsource in your business now? And what does that look like? And if so, at what point did you start doing that in your business?
Yeah, so I do have a virtual assistant, and she right now is mainly focusing on all of my Pinterest stuff. I decided I want to
Oh,
play around with Pinterest, and she's really amazing at it. So, like, that's her soul. I pretty much have a Pinterest coordinator, and
cool.
she's
That's
taking care
awesome.
of all that, and I love it.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't remember when I first hired her. I think it's been several years now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, but we just connected, and it was just perfect, and she just fit right in,
Awesome.
and we've been that way ever since. And then there's also the automations as far as, what sort of tech platforms can you use that have all the different automations. I hate with a passion scheduling Zoom calls. So it
Yep.
was very important to me to very quickly like get the upgraded version of Calendly or whatever it was that
Mhm.
automatically scheduled those calls
Yes.
for
They're
me.
so good, right? They're so good. That's like one of my favorite systemized thing is I was just on there adjusting
Yeah.
my availability.
Yeah. And it's finding those little things like, okay, sometimes it takes literally sitting down and writing out your steps. What do you do to do
Mhm.
something? What are your SOPs,
Yeah.
to do one task and saying, okay, well, this one bit of software can eliminate like these 20 steps. Is that worth the money to pay for the software to get my time back for that and really balance that out? But
Ooh, I
that's
love
what
that.
I've done in my business. I really sit down and try to
Mhm.
see where I can cut those steps
And
out.
it's that awareness piece again too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
awareness, I feel like is such a big topic for entrepreneurs. What other systems do you use other than Calendly to help you?
Hmm. Too many. I can't name them all.
You're like, I need them all listed out.
I know. I am a shiny tech chaser, I will admit.
Ooh,
So
oh,
I try lots of things, and some of them I love, some of them I don't.
yeah.
But
I
I
guess your
mentioned
top three that you love.
uh, mm, right now I'm loving ClickUp.
Okay.
I love Airtable,
Mm,
and I do love Notion, which I use similarly to ClickUp, but
okay.
for different projects. So
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Which I feel like Airtable has some similarities to ClickUp too, right?
it
Or am
does.
I? Okay.
It,
Okay.
it does. We use mainly my Airtable. We use in the second business, and we've
Okay.
used it for organizing bundles, and all our podcast stuff is on there.
Mhm.
Everything that our joint business we all use in there. And then ClickUp has also been great for being able to share those tasks because my business partner in my second business
Mm.
is in France and I am in Ohio in the
Right.
US.
That's
And
right.
so it's really important that we have platforms that we are very, very clear and easy to understand who is doing
Mhm.
what when. So we
Yeah.
don't lose track of things with the distance and the time zone changes and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Now I have to know, how did the partnership with the woman in France start? What? Okay. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah. So I met Michelle. I think we met in a business group. I think we met in the members club, the FEA, uh,
Okay.
and I forget we connected over something free. We swapped, did a freebie swap with each other. Then we started talking and realized that we followed a lot of the same patterns with how we worked and what we stood for, what we wanted to do with our businesses. And from there, we started our podcast, which is Marketing Like a Mother. And it was the best way to start a partnership with someone because we
That's
got to test things out with something that wasn't super, high stakes.
Mhm.
And we got to play around with how she works, how I work, how we work together, how we handle stress, with each
Mhm.
other.
Yeah.
And from there, it just grew into, well, we really need to do this for real. And we started
Yeah.
the business, which is the Like a Mother movement. And in that, we do focus more on kind of multi-passionate entrepreneurs and
Okay.
helping everyone chase all of their many passions without, losing their minds.
Right, right. A good
Yeah.
key
Yes.
component of that. I love that so much. How long have you guys been working together?
We just hit a year for that business.
Okay.
So, um,
Congratulations.
yeah. But because she has her own business, I have my own business. We've been doing this a while. I feel like we got started with our second business and built like a 5-year-old business within a couple of
Mhm.
months because
Yeah.
we were just able to use a lot of our own experiences and what had worked, what hadn't worked.
Yeah.
And weren't starting exactly from scratch, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Is there anything that you would recommend or not recommend to someone if they're listening to this and they're like, I would like to have a partner in business? Like any tips for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's going to come down to that awareness piece and
Mhm.
knowing yourself and being having that ability to stand up for your boundaries and what you need with something
Mm.
and being very, very honest with yourself and the other person about it too. Um, there are some people that just won't be a good fit.
Yeah.
You'll start working together and you may be good friends, you may still get along together, but it's just not a good fit business wise.
Mhm.
And that's really important to be able to acknowledge that and say it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before you get into a situation where you're really hating your business and are
Yeah.
not feeling good about things. But again, it's also finding those systems that work for you and your partner that help with that communication. Make
Mhm.
sure you guys are able to be respectful of each other's time and needs and strengths and weaknesses. And it's great because my partner Michelle and I, we complement each other very well as far as our strengths and weaknesses go. There are some things that I absolutely hate to do that she loves to do, and vice versa. And so we know we can split things up that way, and it works out
Mm.
perfectly.
Okay. That's really cool. Yeah, I have seen more and more what I consider like healthy business relationships between
Mhm.
women in the past year or so. And it's just very intriguing to me because I just think that would be very difficult. And I'm sure it would be depending on who you're with, for sure. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think I like envy the people that I see who are doing it so well, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like it adds like a whole nother layer of organization. Like you really have to have your, you know what, together to be doing that with someone else. But I love that.
I will admit, I mean, Michelle and I kind of lucked out, I think, because I
Mhm.
feel like she's one of my best friends, and I've actually never met her in person
Which is
because
so crazy.
I know it's awesome. All of our conversations have been mainly on Zoom or WhatsApp,
Mhm.
and she pointed out in one of our podcast episodes that most of our conversations are recorded. So we have
Oh my
gotten to
gosh,
know
that's
each other
hysterical.
over all of our recorded conversations for summits and podcasts and everything like
Yeah,
that, our course creation and everything.
that's so
Um,
cool. You guys should do a retreat, like do a United
I
States-based retreat and do one in France. That would be so fun.
It's on the list, and I already
Good.
have all the bakeries I'm gonna go visit when I go to Paris, and, she's been
Yeah.
talking up the French pastries, so,
Oh, they're
yeah, I
good.
know my
They are really
agenda.
good. You're like, first of all, we will meet at a
First of
bakery.
all.
It will be delicious. Oh my gosh, I just love that so much. Okay, so then let's talk networking and collaboration because I feel like that has been a very big piece. Well, from my I mean, I haven't known your business for that long,
Yeah.
only a couple months, but a very big piece of what you do with your marketing. So can you tell us a little bit about, how you fit that in? And is it intentional, part of the plan? What's that look like for you?
Yeah, it is very intentional. It is now. I will say I kind of fell into a lot of the networking
Mhm.
and collaboration stuff and realized that it felt really, really good and really authentic and stood for a lot of what I believe in, which is the collaboration over competition element of things. And I'm not great at social media. I can help my clients be great at social media, but it's like pulling teeth for me to get on and
Mhm.
post consistently. I do not
Yeah.
like it. Same thing almost with my email marketing. I love writing, but doing it consistently can be kind of hard. So for me, it became a really big part of my marketing plan for my own business. Um, to focus on getting on other people's podcasts or doing freebie swaps with people, being in bundles or speaking in summits and going into other people's groups and teaching because I know I'm bringing value to it.
Yep.
And then if the right people are watching it and they resonate with whatever I'm saying, my personality, whatever, then they know where they can come find me. It doesn't feel like I'm forcing anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Um, it's very organic, I love
Yeah.
the flow of it. It just flows
Mhm.
so nicely.
Yeah, I prefer to do that too. I love getting into groups, summits, but like the teaching aspect for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious, and we might have talked about this already off camera before, but do you know your human design?
Oh, I do, but I don't.
You don't remember
Oh, she's
it?
got it. Yes.
Would you
Um,
remember if I told you what they
yes,
were? There is generator, manifester, manifesting generator, projector, reflector.
I lied. I don't remember what it was. I,
Okay. I
I
was curious
rem-
because I'm a projector, and one of the things that projectors are known for is teaching. Like we're kind of like the known teachers. So I was just curious if that was yours too.
I'm searching in my email real quick.
You're like, search
Um,
human design.
Human design. I actually did a podcast episode with an amazing, amazing lady who actually helped me. I did my human design chart and she helped
Oh,
show
cool.
what things were. And it was like very dead on.
Oh, neat. You'll have to let me know which one that was.
I will. I
It was.
will. When I,
I-
yeah. And it's
You
probably,
did.
it's something I should probably pay more attention to though, because as she was talking about things, she pointed out some things of, oh, I can totally see that. And do you feel like this
Mhm.
and that? And this is how you work. And I'm like, yes,
Yeah,
it
it
makes
was really
complete
cool.
sense.
I had a friend who for a while was considering, she is very much into like the manifesting breath work, like the woo side of things, but she was
Mhm.
considering adding and human design, but she was considering adding to her practice like the human design for your business, which I've seen some other people do since then. And I have been so tempted to join some of those because I'm like, I bet if you really honed in on your human design and also trained yourself to know like all the human design,
Mhm.
I don't know what they're called, but like the types so that you knew what your clients were, I bet you could see some really cool results and have them lean into like the right kind of things, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know how we got off on that topic.
I
Oh,
don't
because you said you like teaching. Because you said you like teaching. And I was like, oh, yeah, me too. That's why I wondered if you were a projector.
I don't think it was projector. It might have been generator,
I was going to say, I
manifestor,
usually
something.
feel like women in business are manifesting generators, or projectors. Because like the manifesting generators do a lot of work. So like you're like constantly creating things, like pumping things out. The manifesting generator, I feel like, is a little bit more like coming up with the new ideas, like the creativity part of things.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, we don't have to dive into that. They're like, you probably are one of those. I find that super fascinating. But I digress. So let's talk a little bit then. How were you able to grow your businesses if you don't love the social media side of things? Just out of curiosity.
That's a really good question. It was a lot of word of mouth and a lot of collaborations and networking before I
Mhm.
really realized that that was what I was doing intentionally.
Okay.
Um, and it just things just I don't know, they kind of worked. They kind of
Yeah.
worked. I did I mean, I do focus on my email list. I do email. I'm just a little more like 1 to 3 times a week. I give them a range and I hit somewhere in that range. I'm
Yeah.
not terribly consistent on which day I email out or anything, but I
Okay.
tell them that in advance whenever people
Mhm.
join my list.
Yeah.
Um, and I do get on social media. I focus more on business groups. I love
Mm.
getting in business groups on Facebook and just
Yeah.
I'll sit there for 20 minutes or so and just answer as many questions as I can, you know, congratulate people, help support them on as many wins as I can. And then I walk away from it and I leave it be until the next time I intentionally sit down to do it. And
Okay.
that's been, yeah, that's been great. I also, I've mentioned I love writing. I'm an executive contributor for some magazines. I love
Okay.
guest publishing in different magazines and
Oh,
different
cool.
people's blogs and things like that. So
Oh,
that
that's
was also
neat.
a big strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How did you find those? Where did you just like pitch yourself to some of your favorites, or how did that work?
Yeah, I did. Some of the opportunities found me from the business groups I was in.
Mm.
So that networking really paid off.
Yeah.
Some of them were magazines that I loved. I loved reading, and so then I went out and I pitched. I studied journalism in school,
Oh,
so
cool.
I worked at the school paper. I've been a copy editor and wrote for magazines before my this current business.
Hmm.
And so I had some connections there that I reached back out to, and
Neat.
um, yeah, things just kind of
Cool. I didn't know that part. That's really
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I'm
So
a
you've
total
always really loved writing.
I've loved writing. I'm a complete
Mhm.
grammar police person.
I am
So
too. I am totally that person. If you spell something wrong or use the wrong there, like I immediately catch it.
yeah, Yeah.
Or when I send out my own and I accidentally use the wrong one, it's like, oh my gosh, burn the place down. Like,
I know it drives me crazy whenever I see I've made a typo, or
Mhm.
heaven forbid I use the wrong your or there or
Yeah,
something. It's like, oh my gosh, that's horrible, but no
yeah,
one really cares too much.
I know. My business coach was looking over one of my offer pages for an offer that I've had up for like 2.5 years. And I swear I looked at that page like 18 million times.
Mhm.
And he pulled it up, and within like 2 seconds, he was like, oh, do you know you spelled, I think it was productivity. Do you know you spelled productivity wrong in the first line? And it was like bolded. And I was like, I'm like, what? I'm like, no one has ever said anything. I have sold how many of these? I was just mortified. I was like, I almost just want to reach out to like everyone who's ever viewed that page and be like, I'm so sorry. And then I'm like,
Sorry.
no, I gotta just swallow
Nice.
it. Just pretend it didn't happen. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
So,
it's funny. My business partner, Michelle, she's actually dyslexic. And so a lot of times I'll get emails or something. Hey, this is spelled wrong on your page. I'm like, it's okay. Like it is what it is. Like we've
yeah,
stopped. Like we'll go in and correct things as we can, but she's fully
yeah,
embraced it. We've had podcast episodes talking about it. It's part of,
yeah.
it's part of
Part of
her.
the
We
brand
love
at
it.
this
It's
part.
part of the
Yeah.
brand. There will be typos and it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what we mean, just go with the
Right.
gist of it. So
Right. I love that. And you have to do that because that's that like perfection thing. If you
yeah.
have to go and correct every mistake or whatever, like you're never going to get it out there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mhm. Or you're going to be worrying about everything that you do. And it's like, no one's got time for that.
Yeah. Perfection is not really achievable. It's
No, especially for us busy working moms,
yes.
doing all the things, building the empires, changing the world. We got better things to do.
Yeah, exactly. Need to just let that go.
Yes, yes. Well, Olivia, I have loved our conversation. How can everyone find you? What's the best way, and how can they work with you if they want to work with you even more?
Yeah, come check me out. I'm thebluebellgroup.com. Shoot me an email, Olivia at the Bluebell Group. Let me know if you had any takeaways from this episode. I'd love to hear. And I am on social media if you want. I'm at the Bluebell Group. Shoot me a message. I do answer them, occasionally, every now and then.
Once every week or so.
Once every week, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, Olivia. I really appreciate you. And everyone, I will put those links in the show notes for you so you can just go ahead and click for them. Have a great day.